Hi, and welcome. My name's Tom Yakopin, and this is the Tom Yakopin podcast. We call it Yakopinions. It's April 7th, 2020, and I am here in our studio on lockdown, shelter at home, COVID-19, quite a historical thing. And I thought it would be fun today to talk about, as a departure from talking about the problem, let's talk about something that I think is probably in the hearts and minds of a lot of individuals in the United States, and perhaps even why many people are responding, chatting, sharing information, exploring, even doing some private investigations, such as the Film Your Hospital movement and other things. So a lot going on because a lot of people have questions, but fundamentally the thing that I find I think is interesting, you have the problem over here. You've got the issue of the pandemic, and is it being handled right? Isn't it being handled right? Why are we locked in our homes when in fact, the numbers are this, all of this. But I think everybody feels a little edgy because of this over here. And what I want to talk about over here is liberty. Liberty. Liberty, liberty. And as I was saying to my producer prior to going live, I said, so that we're all on the same page, I think it's expedient to even begin with the definition, going back to 1800s, Webster's older version, his older dictionary. What is liberty? So that we're all on the same page. Again, I want you to know what I'm talking about, so that we're not talking about, Liberty DeVito, the drummer, or who shot Liberty Valance. We're all on the same page. And here's a premise or a foundation laid by Mr. Webster. And he says this, that liberty, which is Latin from libertas, is freedom from restraint in a general sense and applicable to the body or to the will or mind. The body is at liberty when not confined. The will or mind is at liberty when not checked or controlled. A man enjoys liberty when no physical force operates to restrain his actions or volitions. Now, there are some subpoints to explore here, not in the definition, not adding to or taking away from the definition, but Webster does explore issues such as natural liberty, which I'd like to talk with you about, perhaps in another podcast, civil liberty and our responsibility one to another. I think that's fair. Political liberty, religious liberty, liberty in metaphysics, privilege. He goes into a lot of side topics that would be helpful to understand the depth and the breadth of this precious commodity that we've been given as American citizens, liberty. It's an interesting thing. I'm not a history scholar by any stretch of the imagination, but I love to read history. I remember getting on a binge reading once of George Washington's farewell address. I was blown away by the writings and many of his warnings, admonitions, things to do, things not to do. Oddly enough, it seems like somebody read the playbook and we got it reversed. But liberty is near and dear to the hearts and minds of Americans, and has been for many years, because whether you think we've lost the understanding of it or not, the thing is, I think it's valuable to discuss liberty, because it in of itself, it defends itself, okay? I think if we talk about it, if we explore it, if we really take the time to examine the value of liberty, we will fall in love with it yet again. I think young people who may be ill-exposed to the concept of liberty and the philosophy of liberty itself, and how many philosophies, good and bad, actually spring from this wonderful gift from God. And it is a gift from God. The thing about our founders is whether they were of the religious bent or not, spiritual men, or maybe even just freaking heathens. I don't know. But they came to the conclusion that this issue of liberty is a right not given by the state, by local or federal governments, that liberty, it comes with the deal. When you're born, you're given it. You are endowed with it by your Creator. Liberty. And for many years, think of the countless men and women who have paid a price to defend liberty on the battlefield. But how about the many caregivers that served on the battlefield, or the many volunteers in the Red Cross, the nurses, and countless people who have laid down their lives for liberty? People that have sacrificed, people that have invested, people that have moved from one country to another, people that have sold their lands on the East Coast and moved to the West, people who have risked everything, and possibly even loved ones, to start that business or that enterprise. Why? Because they could. And because if they did it and they did it well, there was a payoff in a system of sowing and reaping, in a system where people can do what they will to do. As Napoleon Hill said, there's nothing that the mind of man, if it can conceive it and believe it, it can achieve it. And you see, it is out of that spirit, I think, that is birthed in us. It's breathed in us from the day we're given life, that we love liberty. Liberty. And I want you to think about that today. You know, there's a lot of interesting quotes. I posted some on my Facebook page today, and I think it bears visiting a couple of these. Liberty, for example, Thomas Jefferson, interesting quote: "Educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty." When I read that, I thought, I texted Neil and said, "Hey, I know what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the solution. I'm going to talk about the precious. I'm going to talk about that which we have defended, we will defend, and we should defend all the days of our lives." You know, one of the last great Democrat politicians, presidents that I remember is John F. Kennedy. Listen to this. "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." Wow, man, that resonates in my heart when I read it. You know, that makes me want to go, I get it. Many have said, and perhaps no better than, but many have said, I don't want life without liberty. And of course, we all know the infamous statement, "Give me liberty or give me death." You see, friends, today I think it's important that we consider the importance, the value of liberty, the price paid for liberty. I encourage you to talk with your young people. Those of you who are homeschooling, I think you're all homeschooling. Why not make this a family discussion? Why not make it a Zoom discussion? Why not make it something that you take some of these seed thoughts and run with and explore and see where it leads all of us, okay? Again, my name's Tom Yakopin. This is Yakopinions, the Tom Yakopin podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.